The Los Angeles Rams trade for cornerback Roger McCreary from the Tennessee Titans. What are my thoughts on the trade? What are my thoughts on Roger McCreary? And how much do I think this is going to impact the Rams? I'll answer all these questions in this video. So the trade details, the Rams get Roger McCreary, obviously, and they get a compensatory 6th round pick from the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans get from us our conditional 5th round pick. So really not a bad trade. I mean, I feel like the Rams are always on the wrong side of the deal when it comes to these pick swap kind of things from Les Snead, but in this case, we kind of benefit here. The way I look at it, the Rams move back basically around in the 2026 draft, and they get a starting caliber corner who's actually pretty good. A lot of you guys may not know who Roger McCreary is just because he was on the lowly Tennessee Titans, and maybe you guys are questioning why they would give up such a good player to the Rams if he really was good. To me, I look at it as it's the lowly Tennessee Titans. They're going in the wrong direction right now. They're losing a lot of games. They got a rookie quarterback, and they're just trying to get as many draft capital assets as they can to kind of rebuild their team. And for Roger McCreary and the Rams, this is a good deal because he is actually a really good underrated player in the league who really hasn't gotten a lot of attention because of the team he's played for. He was a former 2nd round pick in 2022. He is in his contract year right now, but he's only 25 years old. I think the best thing about this Rams trade is obviously you address what you could argue is a need at cornerback, but you do so in a way that's very cheap. You barely give up anything draft capital wise, and you get something back in that conditional 6th round pick. But you also get a cornerback who is really solid, who's 25 years old, who's cheap right now, still on his rookie deal. So if he plays well the rest of the year, great. The Rams can try to extend him if they want to. If not, they can let him walk. They can get a compensatory pick back themselves just for having him play the back half of the season and play well. So I kind of look at this as a low risk and high reward kind of move here because you barely give up anything and you're likely going to get at least decent results back. Whether that be a really good starting cornerback like I think we're going to get, whether it be just really good depth until Witherspoon comes back, or whether it be a compensatory pick that we get back, you barely give up anything and you get a good quality cornerback in return. Now, I personally think that McCreary is going to carve out a nice role here for the Los Angeles Rams down the back half of the season, especially as we wait for Akello to come back. I think he's really going to cement himself in this cornerback room, but I don't think the Rams are going to be in a rush to get him out there, just being the fact that we're coming off our bye week, just made the trade in the middle of the prep kind of going into the Saints game. I don't think they're going to be in any rush to try to throw him out there onto the field because they're not really in desperation for a cornerback right now, but they definitely did need a bit of an upgrade in that room, even if it's just for depth. But as I mentioned, I think McCreary is going to carve out a good role for the Rams at the back half of the year, especially in this Chris Shula defense and what they can kind of do in the places that they can put him in. I think a lot of people look at some of the numbers he had on the Titans and point to how he could be a bad player. I really just think that he was not playing in the best position on that Titans defense, and the Rams can put him in a little bit better of a role. Now, Roger McCreary can play on the inside and the outside as far as cornerback goes, but he definitely specializes in the slot, and that's where his best production comes from. That's where he's more naturally suited to play anyway. He's a really good tackler, a really physical player. He can press, and while he can play on the outside, I think you're going to see your best success come in the slot, and that kind of brings up a big question here that I have moving forward with the Rams. Quentin Lake, as we know, is a safety, but the Rams like to use him all over the place, and one of those places is the slot, and he excels in the slot. So how are the Rams going to kind of deploy Roger McCreary here? Is he going to be primarily in the slot, or are they going to try to test him outside? Are they going to move him around like a Swiss Army knife with Chris Shula? That's kind of the question I have, because we all know how good Quentin Lake is, and we all know the way that the Rams use him, and he's done so good in the slot this year. Could he be pushed to the back end in safety? Yeah, he could, but I don't think the Rams are necessarily going to do that. I think they like where they use him, so seeing where Roger McCreary gets deployed is going to be really fascinating for me to watch. But make no mistake about it, I think McCreary is going to make a big impact on the Rams. He's not really necessarily a big ball hawk kind of guy as far as getting a bunch of turnovers, but I think he's going to be a welcome presence into this Rams cornerback room because he can play the run really well, he can tackle really well, which is important when you're playing teams like the 49ers and the Seahawks. It's always nice to have a guy who you can kind of move around and use in the slot in today's NFL, and I think that this is a guy who's going to rack up some pass breakups here for the Rams, kind of like Quentin Lake has been doing. It's just how are they going to use him is my biggest question, and it's not necessarily a concern, it's just something I'm curious to see. But okay, let's just pretend for whatever reason Roger McCreary just has a weird year and barely gets any playing time. I don't envision that happening at all. Let's just say he's a depth player at the very least. I would still be happy with that because the Rams kind of need depth right now at cornerback with Witherspoon being out, just in case one of those guys goes down. It's nice to have him there. I really do fully expect him to be a starting corner in this defense for the rest of the year and to be a guy who makes these impact plays. injuries. But even if that happens, at the very least, even if he's just depth, you barely gave up anything, and it's not like you have a big contract sitting on the books. He is a guy who's in his contract year, who's 25 years old, and you can kind of do whatever you want with him. And so I'm a big fan of this trade. I'm a big fan to see what he does with this Rams team, because I truly do think he's one of the more underrated guys in the league. But definitely let me know your thoughts down below on if you agree with this trade, if you would have rather them done something else. Do you like Roger McCreary? What are your thoughts on this entire thing? But hey guys, if you're curious to see just how good this Rams team could be moving forward if they fix this problem, you can watch that video right here.